Hey, hello. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 tips to help you stop scrolling because we all know we spend way too much time doing that. And if you think you're innocent of this, I kind of doubt it. Stop scrolling, get focused on your big project, whether that's a creative project, this calling that you have, this dream you're building, maybe it's a business, maybe you just have a garage that really needs to be cleaned out. And you keep on saying, I'll get to that later. So many people are still really pumped up with the New Year's energy and 2020 and all the great things that we're going to do. So I want to help you stop scrolling and start staying focused on what you want to do, because we're not going to make progress. You're not going to make progress if we have a lot of time being spent here and spent there and focused on all kinds of things. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips. It's going to be quick, and then we're going to move on because you got work to do, right? Or play. Maybe it's play that you're going to spend your 5 minutes on. All right, so here's the first tip. I want you to plan for this time. And what that means is, so yesterday when I was looking at my day today, I knew that this would be my window of time to create this video and go live. And so last night I thought about what I was going to do, and it was on my calendar that this was my creative time. Now, if you may have a schedule where you don't feel like you have a lot of time to plan for it, but the more that you can say, okay, this is where I'm going to take 15 minutes to work on this one thing. I'm going to silence my phone. I'm going to shut all the tabs. And I'm sure you've heard this before, and you might think, well, I can't shut all the tabs. I try and shut as many as possible. This weekend, I cleaned my office. That room is so clean now, I can just sit down and focus on exactly what I need to do. And so when you plan for it, make sure if you need to put your phone on silent, do it. I have my phone so that I don't get any text notifications, and it makes my productivity so much better. Because even if we think we're not responding to a little ding or a bell or whatever kind of noise that it makes, we hear it, and even a little bit of our attention goes when we're like, oh, what was that? And then we think, no, I'm going to stay focused. Whereas if there's not that ding or that bell, we don't even have to realign our focus back to what we were working on. This leads into the second tip of the 5 ways to stay focused on your goal. The earlier in the day that you can do this, the better. And this is true even if you are a night owl or an early riser. So I love to work early in the morning. I mean, not super early, like 7:30, I'm still eating breakfast, but earlier in the day is better for me rather than later in the day. And here's the key. If you do it earlier in the day, you know that it's done. And so whatever else happens in the rest of the day is kind of like a bonus, but you know you've gotten that most important thing done if you create your thing first thing in the day. And you might not be able to do it first thing in the day, but when you're looking at your schedule, the earliest in your schedule that you can put this time that you're going to stay focused on this task, then that's what you want to do. All right, and that leads me into the next point, which I already was almost leading into, but I was trying not to say it too soon. So be creative before you start watching videos, scrolling, doing this, doing that, folding laundry. If your project involves you creating something, whether it's a song or an email or an outline or a woodworking project, when you create, it gives you more energy. It lets that life expression flow through you, and it is so energizing. But you have to make sure that you create before you start doing all the other things that can take up a lot of your time. And so here's the other cool thing. If you create first and then scroll or do whatever you want to do, then the scrolling can be a reward. You can say, you know what? I created for 10 minutes today. Now I'm going to go look at Instagram for 20 minutes or 5 minutes. Now I'm going to go look at Twitter, Facebook, wherever. But if you have already done your creative work on whatever this big project, I almost said passion project and then was all getting blurby in my mouth, blurry. Once you've already created, then you can go do the other things and you're like, hey, this is kind of a bonus. Now it's my social time because I've done my work. But as we all know, if you spend so much time doing the social time, then at the end of the day, you're like, I didn't do my work, but I'm too tired to do it. So now I can't do it. And then that cycle can repeat itself, as we know. All right. The next tip is really incredible. So I want you, if this is not a habit that you're in the habit of doing, to start small. Start with 5 minutes if you have to. Do 10 minutes if you think, oh, 5 minutes is too easy. 10 minutes of hyper focus on this thing that you have decided before you sat down to do it, what it is you're going to work on. And then once 10 minutes feels good, then you're going to add on some more time. But if you can't get through 5 minutes without thinking what's happening with so-and-so, or what am I going to do about this thing, then you want to practice. Because here's the thing, our mind is a muscle. And we have, especially with all the technology and things to remember, we've gotten out of the habit of training it to stay focused. So you want to train it again to stay focused. And then, and I kind of already gave you a hint of this last tip, number 5, decide what to do before you're going to sit down and do it. So I have planned out what when I look ahead, I think, okay, here's when I'm going to do this project. That's the day I'm going to do that next piece. Because if you only have 15 minutes to work on something and you spend 5 minutes of it figuring out what to work on, that was 5 minutes. Whereas if you take time, let's say at the beginning of the week or the end of the last week, and think, okay, here are the 5 pieces of this project that I want to start on this week, and break it into 10-minute increments and think, okay, the first day I'll do this, the next day that, then you already know when you sit down exactly what to do. Because our brains don't like to be bored and think, well, wait, if you sit down to think, well, what can I do? Your brain is going to be like, oh, remember, you need to order that thing, and you need to call that person back. And did you ever send that thank you letter to your mother-in-law? Your brain is going to remember all the things that have nothing to do with this big project that's really important to you. And before you know it, you're like, maybe I'll just scroll and see what's going on. All right, so those are 5 tips. I believe that you can do this. Start small. Start with 5 minutes if you have to. If you can do 10, that's great. And I don't even know if I introduced myself on this video. That's how focused I was on giving you tips. So I am Rachel Stravelli. I'm an inner wisdom teacher. I would love if you're watching this on YouTube, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And tell me if you have any tips on staying focused and not scrolling, because I would love to hear. Maybe you think there's something I left out. All right. Have a great day. Bye.